We live in a world of information. We are constantly taking in stimuli after stimuli, sights and sounds and smells and tastes and feelings that shape and reshape the way we understand the world. We observe those stimuli and react to them, making decisions using both our own experiences and the instincts we were born with. This is made possible through the work of the most complex object in our known universe, and it's sitting inside your skull as I speak. Our brains make this possible. Our brains are built to preserve our bodies at all cost, taking in stimuli and reacting to it at superhuman speed. When you're faced with a crisis, your fate will be left to your brain, how it observes and reacts. And so I'd like to ask you a question. When you are faced with a crisis, when you're the one underneath the spotlight, how will you react? I'm not just talking about life-threatening crises. A crisis could be life-threatening, getting lost in the jungle, struggling with the fatal illness, navigating the panic of a shooting, all things that have become sadly commonplace in today's world. But it could also be owning a struggling business, navigating relationships, struggling to manage your life in general. Your brain will decide your fate whether your life is at stake or not. In our turbulent world, it is guaranteed you will face those crises. Everyone does. If you wish to overcome it, you must adopt the proper mindset. The mindset of a survivor. A survivor's mindset is the mindset of a person who looks up at a problem in its face and laughs and is able to overcome it. They are the people who survived that jungle, that illness, that shooting, who solved those problems with the business and the relationships. And so as I tried to find out what makes those survivors different, I looked at writings from ancient civilizations, at recent research in neuroscience, and everything in between. And what I got from it was this. We've known these qualities for years. We've been recognizing these qualities in others for millennia. From my research, I found 3 common elements, 3 qualities of a survivor that I've saw repeated over and over and over again. And I'm telling you these today in hopes that you'll be able to relate this to your own life, to take these habits and use them to overcome your own problems. This shouldn't be something just for those people who risk their lives on the everyday basis, out with outdoor specialists. This is for everyone, because everyone faces problems. Okay, the 3 habits. Observe your surroundings, make a plan, and never give up. I know, it sounds basic. It is basic. That's the point. You know these rules, but you rarely use them. Ever since you were a little kid, you've been reminded you need to stay calm when emergencies happen. But what many of us don't know, it's the science behind them. And then when the stress rises, when the situation happens, it all falls out of our head. So many people freeze under stress. And so that I hope that when I tell you a little bit about the science behind these occurrences, they'll stick with you the next time you need to face the problem. Number 1, observe your surroundings. A true survivor, when faced with a crisis, stays calm, observing the situation they're faced with. When your brain perceives a threat, it starts a chain reaction of hormones that put your body in peak physical condition. Digestion stops, blood coagulates, muscle tone alters, your neurons fire more energetically. Your whole body is working to get yourself in prime physical condition. You're activating your fight or flight response. You're ready. With this heightened state, a survivor seeks to understand and recognize what's happening around them. They use that stress to their advantage. It sharpens their senses. They think more clearly, instead of freezing and denying that what's happening around them is true. Survivors perceive and believe in the same situations where a victim denies. Number 2, make a plan. Continually observing and reevaluating, a survivor decides what they need to do. They don't allow themselves to freeze. They plan and take decisive action. They're willing to change their plans and let go of their plans when the situation changes and the plan is no longer relevant. But they always have some kind of goal in mind. The goal might change, the goal might completely change in the opposite direction, but there's always some kind of goal and some kind of rough plan of how to get there. A survivor needs to think about what's happening. They need to think through their decisions. A victim, on the other hand, is unable to plan. They're rash, following their first instincts without stopping to think through the consequences. They let their emotions take control, and they don't control the emotions. A survivor refuses to do this. A survivor is in control of themselves, even though they're not in control of the situation. Number 3, never give up. Yes, I know, it sounds like a cat poster a middle-aged dad hangs in his cubicle, but it's important. He hangs in that cubicle because it's important. Whether the struggle is short or long, survivors hold on to their end goal. They acknowledge that their success is not guaranteed. They acknowledge that there's a very real possibility they'll walk away from this situation worse than where they started. But they do everything in their power to stop that from happening. They do everything in their power to succeed. A victim, on the other hand, drops the effort as soon as the pressure increases. But the survivor holds through. Overall, these 3 rules all deal with logic and emotion, and the balance between the two. The ancient Greeks called it logos and pathos, and they wrote extensively about their power in persuading audiences in persuasive argument. Today, we look at logic and emotion from a physiological standpoint, as 2 parallel systems inside your body, working to ensure your survival. Logic is the force of reason that allows you to think through the problem and brainstorm solutions. Thank your logic for your cool, thought-out decisions. It's commanded from your neocortex inside your brain. But emotions, on the other hand, are another system entirely. Based in the amygdala, they are an evolutionary tactic that allows us to act without thinking. Your amygdala is faster than your neocortex. Your emotions are faster than your logic. And it allows you to react to situations as they happen, and to create emotional bookmarks that associate certain activities with certain responses. After experiencing something the first time, you know what to associate it with. Dangerous situations, you avoid those because your body has learned that that is a dangerous situation that it does not like. Danger. It's an emotional bookmark. And it's a very powerful system, emotion. So is logic. They're 2 very powerful systems. And they can get you killed and make you fail if not controlled properly. Plato, the Greek philosopher, compared it to a horse and rider. He said, to succeed, we must use the reins of reason on the horse of emotion. Think about that for a second. Imagine it as a jockey with a horse in the starting gate. If he lets the horse get excited in the gate, he's going to get hurt, maybe killed. There's too much action and not enough space. But he needs that horse to win, and the horse needs him to win. Neither of them can win the race without the other. They're 2 beings, and they're dangerous. They're raw power, uncontrolled. But when they work together, when they are controlled, they are one system, and they are godly. They are absolutely incredible, and they can do whatever you harness them to do. When you face that crisis, you need to be both that horse and the jockey. Your logic and your emotions must work together. They have to be in tandem, together, 2 interlocked systems that work together to keep your body alive. Your logic should have some control over your emotions, and your emotions should have some sway over your logic. They're working together. Just like I said in the 3 habits. Observe your surroundings. Make a plan. Don't give up. They all deal with balancing those 2 forces, logic and emotion. Keep your calm and use your maximum abilities. That's what can only be achieved with both logic and emotion. Responding to the stimuli the right way. It is a world of information, my friends, and I hope you'll react to that information properly, like a survivor. Thank you.